But Brandon, it is now time to end up the podcast doing what we end up the podcast. That just sounded weird coming out of my mouth, but we're going to end the show kind of doing what we always do, making our picks for the upcoming week. We got week numero 6, I believe, if my Spanish serves me correctly. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. We're going to start out Thursday night.
You're right.
We're going to do Thursday night action here, October 5th, 17 Louisville on the road at 24 NC State. Louisville, 3.5-point favorite. Who you got?
Ricky, I'm going to take Louisville in this one. I think that Lamar Jackson is going to be able to put up some points against that North Carolina State defense that did really well against Florida State.
Which you picked. You picked that game. You picked
did.
that upset.
I did. But remember, Florida State playing without DeAndre Francois. Louisville not without Lamar Jackson. Louisville's going to get the win in this one, but NC State has done some really, really good things.
I completely agree with you. I think there's a stipulation in my contract, by the way, here at MVP, that I cannot pick against Lamar Jackson. That's obviously a joke.
You sure
that's
would
not
think.
In my contract, as I would make up the contract, and why would I put that in my own contract? But I got to go with the Cardinals in this one. I think they're going to win by more than 4 points. Take them with the line being at 3.5. They're going to win by at least a touchdown. That'll be if the game is really, really close. They'll win in that one. This next one, though, is interesting because a lot of people think we're just ragging on Clemson. We've got Wake Forest coming into Clemson, South Carolina to play the number 2 Tigers. Who do you got, Demon Deacons or the Tigers?
Oh, man, that's a tough. No, I'm just kidding. I've got to go Clemson in this one. They've looked really, really good. That defense continues to do some great things. And last week, Kelly Bryant did not turn the football over. He only has 3 touchdowns. He's got 3 interceptions. But if Kelly Bryant, moving forward, if he can grow more as a quarterback, he's already a great runner. We know that. We've seen that. But if he can grow more as a quarterback, I think that this is going to be it's already a dangerous Clemson team, but it's going to be a very dangerous and competitive Clemson team as we grow. Not grow, but rather go farther in the season, and Kelly Bryant grows more as the season goes along. So Clemson in this one.
I got to throw out 2 shout-outs for this pick. First one coming from Kyle Gordon, who commented on our Virginia Tech Clemson video, said, "Bro, how many times are you going to pick against Clemson?" That was on our picks video. Then on the Clemson Virginia Tech video, we got Darius Bellinger saying, "Next week, Ricky will pick Wake Forest to beat Clemson." I'm sorry, Darius, but you're wrong. I'm going to pick Clemson this week. I have picked against Clemson so much. Picked Louisville, picked Virginia Tech. I'll be honest. If Wake Forest would have came into this game undefeated, I probably would have had this as an upset special, but I'm not going to make that mistake. I'm going to go with Clemson in this one to win a 22-point favorite to beat the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Then our next game, a Big 12 showdown. After the bye of last week, we get Oklahoma, number 3, hosting the 2-2 Iowa State Cyclones in Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners, 28-point favorites, Brandon. Who do you got?
Wow, yeah, 28-point favorite sounds just about right. I think that's right on point there. Oklahoma will get the win. If Baker Mayfield's the quarterback, they're getting the win.
Yeah, I got to go with the same thing. The Iowa State Cyclones will not have enough. This doesn't seem like it's going to be a good upset special week for you guys. I got to go with the team, the favorite in this one, with Oklahoma, the 28-point favorite. Then our next one, a Big Ten matchup. Northwestern 2-2 hosting the number 4 ranked team, Penn State Nittany Lions, a 14-point favorite, which that line may be a little close, but I think Penn State wins this one.
I think that Northwestern will be in the game for the first half, but I think Penn State pulls away in the second half. The reason I say that the game's at Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois, so I'm saying that Northwestern's defense will be able to hold on for a little while, but Penn State ultimately pulls away and gets the win.
Then our next one, an SEC matchup, number 5 Georgia undefeated going into Vandy. Now, Georgia is a 17-point favorite, but I know that them boys down there in Nashville, Tennessee, we like to show you how to play some SEC ball. You come into Vanderbilt, we'll show you how to play. Yeah, that didn't work too well when when Alabama came to town, I think Georgia's going to follow suit in this one and get a big win and roll to 6-0 on the year.
Georgia's been playing some really good football. They're a hot team right now. Vandy's not going to slow them.
Here's a prediction. I know we're recording this Monday night. Do you think Eason or Fromm, who starts the game? Do you think Eason will be healthy enough to be in consideration to come back?
I'm going to go Eason. I'm going to go Eason right now, but, Fromm's played very well.
Yeah, Fromm has been stellar so far. However, Vanderbilt's been good, except for their big loss that they had against Alabama after they said those things coming into that game. Then we've got another SEC matchup, a team that we were said in the comment section. One of our commenters said we undervalue or underrate Auburn, number 12, Auburn playing Ole Miss. Does Auburn do what Alabama did last week to the Rebels?
Not trying to underrate Auburn, just it didn't seem like they had really gotten things going, especially after that game that they played against Clemson. They're only able to score 6 points. That's a lot of credit to Clemson's defense. But Auburn, I think, is going to get the win in this one. Ole Miss is still trying to lick their wounds from last week, a 66-3 loss to Alabama. Auburn with the win.
Yeah, Auburn in this one, 21.8 or 21.5, pardon me, point favorites in this one. I got to go with Auburn. Ole Miss did not look good last week. However, how much of that was Ole Miss being Ole Miss, and how much was that them running into the buzzsaw this year of what seems to be the Alabama Crimson Tide? Then we're going back to the Big 12 for another ranked versus ranked game. 23 West Virginia, number 8 TCU. TCU might be a 12.5 favorite in this game, but Brandon, is there any chance the Mountaineers pull the upset in Fort Worth, Texas?
Sure there is. I mean, there's always a chance that it's going to happen, but TCU's defense has been really, really good. The way that they played against Oklahoma State just a couple of weeks ago, that was really, really good defense. If they're able to do that, they're going to hold down Will Grier and that passing attack. We know how good the passing attack was for Oklahoma State and Mason Rudolph. TCU's defense is for real. They're going to get the win.
Yeah, I mean, with me also, I got to go with TCU. I almost went upset special in this one, but I couldn't do it. Have to pick the Horned Frogs to win, 12.5-point favorites. Then the next two games, I'll be honest, I almost want to do upsets in these next two, but I don't think I can. The first one, the ACC matchup in Tallahassee, number 13 Miami playing the unranked Florida State Seminoles. Miami's only a 3-point favorite. Is that line too close for this one, Brandon? Or were you convinced in the last week's win by Florida State over Wake Forest that they're starting to do things now with Jake Blackman at the helm?
For Florida State, I mean, Blackman's going to need some time to really get going and get a feel, but the game's going to be close because of the Florida State defense, but Miami's offense can put up some points. I got to go Miami.
I'm going to say upset alert in this one. Not an upset special. I'm not picking the game, but it's an upset alert mainly because of two things. One, you mentioned it, that Tallahassee defense. Notice how I said that Tallahassee defense because, Brandon, where's the game being played?
In Tallahassee.
In Tallahassee, so that's why it could be an upset special. Florida State riding that home field advantage, but got to pick the U in this one to get the win over the Seminoles. Then the next one, I kind of wanted to pick an upset special in this one, but I can't. 1-4 North Carolina hosting the 4-1 ranked number 21 Notre Dame Fighting Irish. The Irish are 15.5-point favorites, and I think they get the win over the Tar Heels.
Man, Mitchell Trubisky leaves and everything goes to all hell. Notre Dame with a win.
God, I mean, I was watching some of that game last week with Georgia Tech and North Carolina, and the name escapes me off the top of my head. I'm sorry, Tar Heel fans, but the North Carolina, Surratt, the North Carolina quarterback, man, he was just getting sacked left and right, getting pressured all over by Georgia Tech in the little clip or the little part I got to catch before I had to call our alma mater's homecoming game. But the next game, I will proudly say, upset special. LSU, number 21, Florida. That's weird. Both on the ESPN score thing, Notre Dame 21, Florida also 21. So that's what it says. So we have 221 teams right now. Florida, though, is ranked hosting LSU. Florida may be 3.5-point favorites, Brandon, but I am hitting the button, upset special. Tigers get the win, and the skating stops for the Florida Skaters.
Well, you must have been reading my mind, because I'm also going to go upset special here, and it's about time that the LSU Tigers get themselves a really, really good win.
A statement win?
And they need a statement win. I think they're going to be able to do that, but here's the thing, is that Tyree Cleveland for the Florida Gators, he's going to be out for this game. That's just another weapon that you do not have.
You know who else is out for Florida? Luke Del Rio. Season-ending collarbone injury.
Yeah, so it's just things aren't necessarily looking up right now for Florida. LSU needs a win so badly. I think they could get it this weekend.
And then the next game we have for you is a Big Ten matchup. 3-1 Maryland, number 10 Ohio State, which also is 4-1. Maryland is a team that played very well last week. Played very well, getting the 31-24 win at Minnesota. Any chance you're... I'm going Ohio State. I'm not hitting the upset special. Any chance you give the Terrapins to upset Urban Meyer and the Buckeyes?
Maryland's played well. They played well in week 1 against Texas.
Played 51 points in that game.
How does it say? They hung with Texas. They made Texas try and hang with them. They couldn't, but this is Ohio State. I think JT Barrett and the boys will be able to get it done, but Maryland is definitely going to give them their best effort.
And Ohio State in this one, 31.5-point favorites over the Terrapins. Then a very interesting game in LA, in sunny California. Now the number 14 ranked USC Trojans, who are 34-point favorites in this one, playing 1-4 Oregon State. Does Darnold and the boys get back on track here?
They get back on track, but the only reason they get back on track is because they're playing Oregon State. I mean, that was a tough loss last week to Washington State, but let me tell you, it's about time that we have the old Sam Darnold please show up to the game, because right now this USC team, it seems like every single game they're struggling.
Well, he was pressured a lot last week.
Every single game there's pressure on Darnold. Every single game it's kind of how's this one going to go? They haven't looked like the USC from last year. If they want to try and get to anything this year, whether it be playoff, whatever it might be, they cannot lose any more games.
Nope,
and
they cannot.
And losing to Oregon State would sink their season.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen, though. 34-point favorites. I think they bounce back. I don't think Oregon State's going to be able to bring the pressure that the Cougs were able to bring just a week ago. I think that the Trojans get back to 5-1 and kind of start their recovery efforts to try to get back to the playoffs. Then in the SEC, we've got number 1 Alabama and unranked Texas A&M. You mentioned in our first segment, Texas A&M quietly getting back up to 4-1 after losing that week 1 game. The Tide are 26.5-point favorites. Do you pick the upset in this one?
No, I don't. I go Alabama.
What's your score prediction in this one? Because Alabama last week, I'm going Alabama too, by the way, but last week they won 66-3. What's your score prediction for this one?
38-20 Bama.
Ooh, so you think it's going to be a closer game?
Oh, yeah, 38-20 is really close.
I mean, it's closer than 66. Like, I'm expecting like a 58-14 game. 14's being generous, I'm sorry. 58-7 game against Texas A&M. I'm expecting another big blowout by the Alabama Crimson Tide. Then we're moving ACC, number 16 Virginia Tech, unranked Boston College. Does Virginia Tech at 16.5 bounce back against the Eagles?
Yeah, Virginia Tech does bounce back. Boston College, though, has got a sneaky defense, so take a look at that one and take it for what it's worth, but I think Virginia Tech will get the win.
Yeah, I got the Hokies in this one. Boston College did play Clemson close, and I mean, you could use, what is it, the transitive property, one of those properties that, they played Clemson close. Clemson beat Virginia Tech. That means they can play Virginia Tech close, but I think they bounce back and get the win. Then we've got the big one, the Spartans, the Wolverines. Wolverines coming in ranked number 7 and undefeated, 11.5-point favorite is Harbaugh and his boys. Who gets the W? Mean Green or the blue or the Mason Gold is what they call them. Basically, Michigan State. Who gets the win?
I'm going to say Michigan gets the win. They're at home in Ann Arbor. They should roll in this one.
Yeah, I mean, Michigan State coming off of a tough loss to Notre Dame. I think that they get beat yet again. Michigan kicks them while they're down to get the win in Ann Arbor. If it was in East Lansing, I might have hit the button for upset special, but I'm going to go with the Michigan Wolverines. Then we're staying in the Big Ten. Number 9, Wisconsin, undefeated. Nebraska got a big 28-6 win last week, Brandon. But let's be honest, they played Illinois. Who wins the game? Wisconsin, 11.5-point favorites.
I'll be honest with you. Nebraska needs this win so badly. Mm-hmm. They need to be able to have a quality win. Otherwise, they slip to 3-3, and another season starts to look like it's going down the tubes for Nebraska. And it'll be their first
loss in conference as well.
They're at home at Lincoln Memorial Stadium. You know, it's tough, but I got to go Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm going to go Scotty as well. I mean, I think they'll get the win. However, it could be a close game. Could be a touchdown game if Nebraska comes and plays their A game. Then the next 2 games here on ESPN on the score thing I'm using, they don't have lines for either of the next 2, so we're just going to do straight pick'ems, no lines. Number 11, Washington State coming off a big win against USC, going into Eugene, Oregon. Who you got, Cougs or Ducks?
I'm going to go with Washington State, but going on the road to play Oregon, you almost give Oregon a little bit of an edge, but got to go with Washington State.
Yeah, I mean, last week, Oregon getting the big win after losing to Arizona State 37-25, plus the big loss for Oregon in that ASU game was their quarterback, Herbert. He's going to be out for a while with a collarbone injury, not like Stewie Griffin. It's not for a while. It's for a while. I think that the Cougs get the win over the Ducks in this game. Then we've got the Southern Florida or the Central Florida UCF, Blake Bortles' alma mater, at 25 going into Cincinnati. Who do you got, the Golden Knights or the Bearcats?
I'll go UCF.
I'll go UCF as well.
And an easy win.
I really, in this one, I mean, 3-0 UCF, 2-3 Cincinnati. I'm going to go with the Golden Knights as well to win on the road and advance to 4-0, 2-0 in the American. Then we got 3 games left. The next 2 in the Pac-12, Stanford, Utah. Utah at 20, undefeated. However, Stanford, the 6-point favorite on the road. Who do you got?
I'm going to take Utah. I'm going to take Utah
here. Upset special for Brandon.
I'm going to take Utah here at home. And Tyler Huntley has looked pretty good for Utah so far this season. To get them to 4-0, they're at home. Stanford's coming in. They've got Bryce Love, this guy that we talked about earlier in the podcast. But Utah, I'll take them. They're at home in Salt Lake City.
You know what? Utah playing a close 6-point game in their last one at Arizona. Stanford coming into this one, a big win over UCLA, a big win over Arizona State. It technically isn't an upset special, but it kind of feels like an upset special. If we're going off of the rankings, I'm taking the upset special. If we're going off of the line, you're taking the upset special. I'm going to go Stanford with this one. 6.5-point favorites on the game for their win over Utah. Then the other Pac-12 matchup, we got Cal at 3-2 going into Washington, number 6 in Seattle, Washington. The Huskies are 27-point favorites. Who do you got, Bears or Huskies?
Got to take the Huskies at home in this one. You know, they've been, as I feel they were
a quiet
last year. Yes.
No one's talking about them this year.
No one's talking about them, but like you said, quiet 5-0, they get the win at home.
It's all about Sam Darnold this year in the Pac-12. That's all the attention's getting, but I think the Huskies get the win over Cal. And then the last one, we got the San Diego State Aztecs at 5-0, playing the UNLV Running Rebels. San Diego State 10.5-point favorites. Who gets the win in Las Vegas?
And I'll go San Diego State in that one.
I think that the thing is, I think UNLV comes out very charged in this one with the emotions kind of going strong for especially what happened in Las Vegas this past week. However, I think the Aztecs will get the win over the UNLV running Rebels. And hopefully this week's a little bit more kinder to us. I feel like this was I'm going to be honest, I feel like this was a boring week for picks only because I feel like you and I were on the same side of the table in a lot of these. But you guys, this is where we turn to you. Let us know who you guys have down below in the comment section. What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? Let us know who you guys have down in the comment section. Also, thank you guys, especially, well, if you're on YouTube, I always say that. If you're on YouTube, you're seeing this first. It's not really thank you for listening to the podcast. You've got three other segments coming out this week. But if you're on Blog Talk Radio, thank you guys for sticking around and listening to the entire Primetime Podcast this week. It was great to spend some time with you. Let us know what you guys think down below in the comment section, obviously. And I want to thank you guys for either watching or listening. And as always, have a good day, everybody.